tawanan, lahat ng iyong all-time hits. Ang tanging huntahan ng Masang Namaw. Number 1 sa Mega Manila, nationwide pa. Broadcasting from TGON, TVH Group of Networks. Dito lang sa inyong iisang himpilan. Cool FM. You are listening to Cool FM. Live from Cool Studios. This is koolNews at 4.
Good afternoon and welcome to koolNews at 4. A suspected Bitcoin pusher was arrested and more than 500,000 pesos worth of marijuana or weeds and its derivatives were seized Tuesday in Imus City, Cavite by Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency (PDEA) agents and other law enforcers. The by-bus operation resulted in the dismantling of the marijuana distribution hub based in Imus, PDEA Region 4A, reported on Wednesday, July 31st. The report said PDEA operatives, Philippine Air Force personnel, and local policemen conducted a sting operation in Barangay Pinatulog at 4:50 p.m. The arrested suspect, identified as Wenzer Liotson, age 27, yielded dry weed leaves, marijuana oil, resin, and other marijuana byproducts worth 506,000 pesos. The suspect, a freelance tattoo artist and video editor, is classified as a high-value target in the government campaign against illegal drugs. Liotson was detained and will face a complaint for violating the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Juan Ponce Enrile sees no problem with the Supreme Court's move to allow the continuation of the trial for his plunder case, urging the courts to decide on the case already. In an unabashed interview at the Patansang Pabansa complex on Wednesday, Enrile was asked about the Supreme Court's decision allowing Sandigan Bayan to proceed with the plunder trial, with 13 justices voting to dismiss his petition for prohibition of his case. Well, let them decide. Until now, they have not decided. It has been 10 years since the case was filed, but no strong evidence has been presented against me, the former Senate President said. That's not only the case. I have many cases regarding the coconut lately, and they benefited from it, but until now, I do not know what happened to my cases, he added. Last Monday, it was reported that the Supreme Court allowed the continuation of the trial, with due justice not participating in the decision. Enrile's doubts as to the Sandigan Bayan's fealty to the law is no cause of action, and his inability to trust in the judicial system does not merit relief. Read the 32-page decision penned by Associate Justice Maria Filomena Semk. The court does not act on the basis of fear, bases assumptions of bad faith on conjectures. Since litigants demand fairness from the courts, the judiciary similarly expects fairness from litigants, it added. Enrile is one of the 3 senators charged with plunder for alleged involvement in the Port Barrel scam. Senators Roman Bong Revilla and Jingo Estrada have been acquitted. They were accused of pocketing their Priority Development Assistance Fund while after allocating parts of the funds to Port Barrel scam mastermind Janet Limnapolis' bogus non-government organizations. Enrile was accused of pocketing 172 million pesos off his PDAF. The 3 senators denied knowing the allegations, claiming that their staffers acted on their behalf. Early, Enrile was at the House of Representatives hearing on illegal activities linked to the Philippine offshore gaming operators Pogos on Wednesday to accompany his daughter, Cagayan Economic Authority Administrator Katrina Ponen Enrile. The younger Enrile clarified that there are internet gaming or iGaming operations in Cagayan Economic Zone, but it differs from Pogos, which she said was merely a creation of the past administration of the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation. Two armed men were killed when they tried to prevent police and military authorities from entering a village in Islanwar, town, Sultan Kudarat province, where a rito or clan war was brewing, the army in this camp reported on Wednesday. What I mean this camp is Camp Sion, Sion Jiko. Lieutenant Colonel Christian Ray Villascas, commander of the Army's 7th Infantry Battalion, said soldiers and police officers were responding to reports from civilians about a dispute involving armed motor families locked in a feud on Monday afternoon. Involved in the hostilities that sent civilians fleeing were gunmen belonging to the armed factions of Moro Islamic Liberation Front or MELF and Moro National Liberation Front or MNLF in Barangay Lagandang, according to Valescas. These escalating tensions and violence resulted in the displacement of civilians within the community, Valescas said, lamenting that the armed groups involved in the redo had targeted the responding army and police personnel. Police are still determining the identities of the two slain armed men and whose side they belong. Governing forces recovered 2 Barrett rifles, 2 M16 rifles, an M60 machine gun, a 60mm mortar tube and launch pad, a .22 caliber rifle, an M79 Grande launcher, and hundreds of ammunition. Major General Antonio Navarrete, commander of the Army's 6th Infantry Division, said the law enforcement operation aimed to disarm and arrest armed groups that have consistently harassed civilians in Barangay Lagandang due to clan war. We have emphasized that no one is above the law, and we will enforce that to all armed groups, Navarrete said in a statement, referring to groups such as the MNLF and MELF forces, reminding them of the existing comprehensive ceasefire agreements with the government. Price of vegetables from the Cordillera region remained stable as of Tuesday amid the 11.93 million peso crop damage by Super Typhoon Karina, the Department of Agriculture in the Cordillera Administrative Region, DACAR said. The DACAR's Disaster Risk Reduction Management Information Service reported at 4:30 p.m. on Monday an initial 11.93 million pesos worth of 24.39 metric tons of high-value crops from 129.78 hectares of plantations damaged by Karina. Minimal damage was logged on rice, corn, and cassava. At least 402 farmers were affected by the typhoon, which enhanced the southwest monsoon and brought continuous rains even after the bad weather. Despite the damage, data on Tuesday showed that wholesale prices of vegetables decreased compared to Monday. The price of cabbage declined by 2 to 3 pesos per kilogram, with an average price of 15 to 18 pesos, carrots by 50 to 20 pesos, with an average of 50 to 65 pesos per kilo, and potato granola by 2 pesos with an average of 58 pesos. A kilo of sayote remained stable at 15 pesos, while the first-class Chinese cabbage was higher by 3 pesos from its previous price of 9 pesos per kilo. Ida Pagdan, Regional Agriculture and Fisheries Information Service, Chief of DACAR, said current monitoring in the local market shows enough supply of vegetables. Based on market monitoring in Baguio City and La Trinidad, there is sufficient supply as residents have not yet gone out to buy volumes for the family, she said. Local governments in the Cordillera have posted on their official social media pages calling on farmers to report the situation on the farm, specifically the area planted, the kind of crop, and the stage of the plant, and to submit photo documentation to make reporting faster. As of now, we cannot give the actual supply data, but looking at the trend in pricing, it is fluctuating. We need to wait for a little, but rest assured that reporting is being fast-tracked, Bagdan said. Lawyer Johnny Glenn Dawanyan, DA Regional Director and Head of the Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, said the department is ensuring the provision of rice, corn, and vegetable seeds to farmers affected by the recent calamity and has a quick response fund that would cover the rehabilitation of affected farms. We are gathering and assessing reports of crop damage and losses in the region, including affected livestock from the local government units. The regional field office will then have to jointly validate the reports for DACR to identify what specific intervention may be provided to the affected farmers, she said. DACR has repositioned its seed reserve to include 204,564 kilos of hybrid, inbred registered, and inbred certified rice seeds, 45,000 kilos of white and yellow corn seeds, and 564.70 kilos of upland and lowland seeds that may be distributed to the affected farmers in the region. The supply is part of the La Nina preparedness plan of the DA, which has laid out during the height of El Nino. DA also has the Survival and Recovery Loan Program from the Agriculture Credit Policy Council and the crop insurance that the Philippines Crop Insurance Corporation will provide. And former President Rodrigo Duterte's executive order allowing online gambling operators to make games available overseas was ill of the Marco Administration Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Joan Bronson and Real said on Wednesday. Enrel attended the House of Representatives hearing on Philippine offshore gaming operators POGOs to accompany his daughter, Cagayan Economic Zone Authority Administrator Katrina Pon Enrel, who explained that there are no POGOs within their jurisdiction. In an unabashed interview, Enrel was asked if it was wise to allow POGOs to operate when other countries have banned these operations. It was ill-advised. They did not study well. My God, POGO was banned by Cambodia, banned by many countries in Central Asia, and we adopted it here. And why is that here until now we have POGOs in Pampang and Porlac and without POGOR being able to control them? The former Senate President said. Is that a wise decision? Wise activity? He added. Enrel did not specify which part of the Duterte's Executive Order Number 13 was ill-advised, but the presidential decree released in February 2017 clarified online gambling. Under Section 3 of the Executive Order, a licensed online gambling operator or a provider of activities and service is prohibited from allowing persons who are physically located outside the territorial jurisdiction of the licensing authority to place bets or in any way participate in the games conducted through an online portal or similar means. However, the same section also stated that gambling operators who want to operate outside of the government's jurisdiction can apply for a separate license with the appropriate authority. According to Enrel, POGO was never on his mind when he crafted Republic Act No. 7922 or the Cagayan Special Economic Zone Act of 1995, which established the Cagayan Special Economic Zone and free port in Santa Ana town. If I were the president, I agree with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. I will kick out POGO in this country, he said. I do not know anything about POGO. That was never in my mind when I crafted Republic Act No. 7922. In fact, when I revised the POGO Charter, POGO was never in my mind or in the mind of any legislator, he added. During the hearing, the younger Enrel explained that they are internet gaming or iGaming operations in CSESFP, but it differs from POGOs. To this end, I want to categorically state that there are no POGOs in the Cagayan Special Economic Zone and Freeport. There never was, and there will never be. POGOs are the exclusive creation of the past administration of POGOR. ZISAG has the authority to conduct offshore iGaming operations since it can register enterprises organized or domiciled in the Philippines or any foreign country, she said. The Senate and the House have been prompting POGO since earlier this year after authorities raided POGO hubs in Pampang, Tarlac, and in Porlac, Pampanga, revealing human trafficking, sexual abuses, torture, murder, and even possible money laundering. This was dragged into discussions on POGOs after the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission on June 30 said that some gaming hubs are operating near the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement sites. The EDCA is an agreement between the Philippines and the United States. There are currently 9 EDCA sites, with 2 located in Cagayan. The EDCA site in the naval base in Santa Ana, Cagayan, is within the CSESFP. POGOR clarified that there are no POGOs near EDCA sites. The younger Enrel also said the military had no concerns placing the base near iGaming operations because the economic zone has been saved. It is now 4:15 in the afternoon, and we will have more headlines coming up right here on koolNews at 4. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back to koolNews at 4. Only two senators have filed a resolution pushing for the temporary suspension of the public transport modernization program, pending the resolution of valid and urgent concerns raised by the affected sector. Only Senator Risa Ontiveros did not sign Senate Resolution number 1096, which was filed on Monday. Those who signed the resolution were Senate President Francis G. Escudero, Senate President Pro Tempore Jingo Estrada, Majority Leader Francis Tolentino, Minority Leader Aquino Pimentel III, and Senator Rafi Tufo, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Public Services. The other senators who signed were Nancy Binay, Alan Peter Catillano, Pia Catillano, Ronald De La Rosa, Lauren Regarda, J.V. Ejercito, Sherwin Cachillian, Christopher Bongo, Lito Lapid, Amy Marcos, Robin Hood Padilla, Grace Paul, Roman Bong Revilla Jr., Joel Villanueva, Cynthia Villar, Mark Villier, and Joan Michael Subidi. While the PTMP is integral to the traffic management solution, there is an urgent need to thoroughly review and reassess the impact of the program to elevate the fears of the drivers and transport operators who will be directly burdened by its implementation, the senators said in a resolution. Despite the April 30, 2024 deadline signed by the Department of Transportation for the consolidation of public utility vehicle, the resolution pointed out that 36,217 units, or approximately 19% of the jeepneys and other PUVs, have not been consolidated. The measure cited two primary reasons for the high figure of unconsolidated PUVs. So here are the following. It's insufficiency of information drive on the part of the government to educate the drivers, operators, and transport groups about the PTMP, formerly known as the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program, or PUVMP. The burden of financing the cost of modern PUVs, which greatly exceeds the financial capacity of drivers and operators. Those who did not participate in the consultation are now considered as colonium or operating illegally and run the risk of being fined and their vehicles impounded should the drivers continue to apply their routes, the senators said in a resolution. Meanwhile, this resolution noted that only 174 or 11.05% of the 1,574 local government units had approved the local public transport route planning. Unlike the deadline for PV consolidation, however, the LGUs and the DOTR have until now to comply with the complete LPTRPs. Another alarming concern raised is the potential phase-out of the ironic jeepney design in favor of the so-called motor jeepneys, which are merely minibuses imported from other countries, the resolution said. Although the intent of the PTMP is laudable, the senator said continuing with the program without trashing out these concerns would go against the constitutional directive of promoting social justice in all phases of national development. More consideration and clarifications are needed to be made by the DOTR in order to address the concerns voiced by affected stakeholders, especially the drivers, he added. The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, NGCP, has placed the Luzon grid under yellow alert on Wednesday afternoon to evening due to limited supply after two power plants tripped. In an advisory, the grid operator said the yellow alert would be in place from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. In a yellow alert, power supply can still meet demand, but it will serve as a warning that when a plant breaks down one way or another, it will result in brownouts. A red alert, meanwhile, means that supply is no longer sufficient to meet demand. Brownouts could happen if demand is not managed. It said the Luzon grid's available capacity was 12,967 megawatts, while the peak demand reached 11,768 megawatts. The Visayas and Mindanao grid, meanwhile, were running under normal conditions. In a message, the United States provision of $500 million military aid to the Philippines shows that they are equal partners in maintaining peace, freedom of navigation, and a rules-based approach to the differences, said President Francis Escudero said on Wednesday. In a message to reporters, Escudero also said the military aid is unprecedented assistance and investment that the Philippines has been needing. I do not think this will provoke or abdicate China because strengthening one's own military, like them and most countries, in order to keep peace is the right and obligation of every country, he added. China asserts sovereignty over nearly the entire South China Sea, with claims overlapping the exclusive economic zones of the Philippines, Vietnam, and other countries, causing regional tension. On the other hand, Senator Aquino Pimentel III criticized the military aid from the U.S. In a message to reporters, the Senate Minority Leader pointed out that the U.S. could have assisted the Philippines in agriculture. They are again giving us military hardware that our farmers and fishermen cannot use. Why doesn't America make an unprecedented investment in our agriculture sector? Pimentel said. Why always military hardware? And for all we know, they are giving us their surplus military hardware for already being obsolete our old technology, he added. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken disclosed that the U.S. would be allocating an additional $500 million in military financing to the Philippines. He said the initiative is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to help modernize the armed forces of the Philippines, the Philippine Coast Guard, and the Philippines-U.S. bilateral security sector assistance roadmap, as well as doubling the investments in the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. Blinken and U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin III met with Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo and Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. at Camp Aguinaldo, scheduled sitting for the 4th Philippines-U.S. Foreign and Defense Ministerial Dialogue, or 2+2 Dialogue. 8 areas in Cavite were placed under a state of calamity after the oil spill from the second empty Terra Nova reached the province coastline, Governor John Vic Remula announced on Wednesday. The oil spill reached the coastal areas of Cavite. Affected are the municipalities of Bacoor, Kawit, Noveleta, Rosario, Tansa, Nais, Maragondon, and Ternate. As of today, the province is declaring a state of calamity in these areas, Remula said in Filipino in a Facebook post. The empty Terra Nova, carrying 1.4 million liters of industrial fuel, sank up Bataan early last Thursday, July 25. On Saturday, the Philippine Coast Guard PCG reported that the oil from the sunken tank spread about 12 to 40 kilometers across Manila Bay. In an interview with Teleradio 630, Remula described the situation of the coastline affected by the oil spill. That fuel was released. It's heavy. When it reached us, or Cavite, it settled on the seabed in our area. That's why all the shellfish, crabs, clams, and mussels were affected by the oil spill, Remula said. Remula declared a no-catch zone for all shellfish in Cavite this week. He added that the provincial government would distribute food and cash assistance to the 25,145 displaced fisherfolk. In a statement on Monday, Pamalakaya Vice Chair Ronald Armabulo expressed concern about the oil spill's impact on the livelihood of fisherfolk. Our worst fear happened. The oil spill spread to Manila Bay and affected the livelihood of many fishermen, Arambulo said in Filipino. Remula added that Cavite officials had started coordinating with national government agencies to help clean up the oil spill. At least 3 or 4 more local chief executives from the National Capital Region, Calabarzon, and Central Luzon may be involved in the operations of illegal Philippine offshore gaming operators in the country, according to quote-unquote raw information received by Senator Joel Villanueva's office. Speaking at a Kapihan sa Senado forum on Wednesday, Villanueva emphasized that the complaints he received are still unverified. There is raw information. There are those who reach out through Facebook. For instance, I encountered at least 3 or 4 local executives whom we haven't heard from that they want us to investigate, so we just forwarded their complaints. It's raw, unverified, he emphasized. But while the complaints have yet to be verified, the senator said he is certain that there are local chief executives who are dipping their toes into illegal POGO operations. I mean, with the amount of money that's flowing from these operations, lobbyists coming from chief executives from local government units, I am almost sure that some are involved, he said. As for the location of the local chief executives, Villanueva named 3 regions: Calabarzon, Metro Manila, and Central Luzon. I received reports from 4A, NCR, and Central Luzon. Again, I don't want to dwell on this information since it's not verified, but I won't be surprised, and I'm actually saying this. My gut feeling is that some are already involved. POGO has many influence. is so vast now. According to the senator, some of these complaints have already been forwarded to the National Bureau of Investigation and the Philippine National Police. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ordered the immediate ban on pogos in the country in his third State of the Nation address this July. He subsequently ordered the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation to wind down the operations of these firms until the end of 2024. Senator Cynthia Villar Wednesday declared her intention to run for mayor in Las Piñas City in the May 2025 election. Villar, who will end her second term as senator in June next year, excuse me, is posed to run against her niece, incumbent Vice Mayor Abril Aguilar. I want to run for mayor, but there are other considerations. We will see, she told Senate reporters. Among these considerations is her husband, former Senate President Manny Villar, who wants her to return to the House of Representatives. Her husband believes she would have more value if she is in the House. But whose opinion will prevail? Di syempre, ultimately ako, the lady senator said. She said she would make the final decision in October in time for the filing of certificates of candidacy. Continuing her advocacy and projects in Las Piñas is one of her reasons why she wants to run for mayor, according to this senator. I have a farm school in Las Piñas. I have a rehabilitation program. I have Las Piñas para Nakyu wetland farm. We have a drug rehab center there. Lots of infrastructure projects, Gloria pointed out. Now let's move on into international news as Mexico's economy, the second largest in Latin America, slowed further in the second quarter of 2024 as growth weakened to 1.1% year-on-year, officials' figures showed Tuesday. Compared with the previous 3-month period, gross domestic product increased by 0.2%, the National Statistics Agency INEGI reported in a preliminary estimate. The Mexican economy has cooled since last year, when it grew 3.2%. The central bank expects economic growth to fall to 2.4% this year and to 1.5% next year, sapped by trade and geopolitical tensions. Excuse me. There is a noticeable economic slowdown despite high public spending, according to Gabriela Siller, head of economic analysis for the financial group Banco BASE, or BASE. Economic growth of 1.5% in the first half of this year was half of what the US GDP grew by in the same period, she noted. In March, the Bank of Mexico reduced its benchmark interest rate for the first time in 3 years to 11%, where it has been held once, following a drop in inflation. Excuse me again. A tourism boom has helped cut Japan's rice stockpile to the lowest this century as foreign visitors gobble up sushi, onigiri, and other dishes with their staple, officials told AFP Wednesday. Bigger factors, however, were lower harvests caused by hot weather and water shortages, as well as prices rising at a slower pace than alternatives, the Foreign Ministry stressed. Rice sold in the private sector was 1.56 million tons last month, the lowest since comparable data began being collected in 1999, in the drop of 20.8% year-on-year, ministry data showed Tuesday. The chief reasons behind the record low inventory is a decline in production last year due to high temperatures combined with water shortages and the relative cheapness of rice prices compared to prices of other crops such as wheat, Farm Ministry official Hiroshi Itakura told AFP. The increase in demand by foreign tourists also has contributed, he said, but added that we are not in a situation of facing shortages of rice. Japan welcomed 17.78 million tourists in the first half of 2024, a million more than pre-pandemic levels, figures showed earlier this month. Besides the cherry blossom of Tokyo, the geishas of Kyoto, and the majesty of Mountain Fuji, Japan also has helped foreign visitors go flush and boosted spending on everything from kimonos to meals. The effect was also noticeable in data for rice demand, which rose for the first time in the decade in the 12 months to June 30, hitting 7.02 million tons, the Farm Ministry data showed. Demand for rice has been falling for some time because of a falling population and changing eating habits by many Japanese as they opt for other high carbohydrates such as pasta and potatoes. Rice demand by foreign tourists soared 31,000 tons to 51,000 tons, the ministry said. Japan last year recorded its hottest September since records began 125 years ago, and since April this year, heat has killed 36 people according to the Disaster Management Agency. And Iran's Revolutionary Guard said Wednesday that the chief of the Palestinian military group Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, was killed in Tehran along with one of his bodyguards. The resident of Ismail Haniyeh, head of the political office of Hamas Islamic Resistance, was hit in Tehran, and as a result of this incident, him and one of his bodyguards were martyred, said a statement by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Seba news website. The cause of the incident was not immediately clear, but the guard said it was being investigated. Haniyeh arrived in Tehran on Tuesday to attend the inauguration of Iran's new president, Masoud Pezeshkian, in parliament. He had met with Pezeshkian as well as Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Tuesday's swearing-in ceremony came amid concerns of war between Israel and Lebanon's Hezbollah following a Saturday rocket attack on the Israeli-annexed Golan Heights. Israel has accused Hezbollah of responsibility for the attack that killed 12 children, but Iran-backed Lebanese group has denied any involvement. Later on Tuesday, Israel struck Hezbollah's stronghold in southern Beirut in retaliation for the Golan strike, saying it had killed the commander responsible for the attack. A source close to Hezbollah said Shukar was the target, but that he survived the Israeli strike. AFP was not immediately able to confirm that report. Iran, which does not recognize Israel and considers it to be its arch foe, has repeatedly warned Israel against attacking Lebanon. The Zionist regime will make a great mistake with heavy consequences if it attacks Lebanon, Pezeshkian said during a Monday call with French President Emmanuel Macron, according to the Iranian president's website. Alright, it is now 19 minutes before 5. That is 4:41 in the evening, and Cool News at 4. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Continuing with our international headlines, relentless downpours and howling winds hampered Wednesday's search for survivors. Landslides that struck Indian tea plantations and killed 126 people, most believed to be laborers and their families. Days of torrential monsoon rains have battered the southern coastal state of Kerala, with blocked roads into the Wayanad district disaster area, complicating relief efforts. With the only bridge connecting the worst-hit villages of Chogramala and Mundakai washed away, rescue teams were forced to cart bodies on stretchers out of the disaster zone using a makeshift zipline erected over raging floodwaters. Several who managed to flee the initial impact of the landslides found themselves caught in a nearby river that had burst its banks. Volunteer rescuer Arun Dev told AFP at the hospital treating survivors. Those who escaped were swept away along with houses, temples, and schools, he said. Wayanad is famed for the sea estates that crisscross its hilly countryside, which rely on a large pool of laborers for planting and harvest. Several plantations were hit by two successive landslides before dawn on Tuesday. A number of brick wall row homes built to accommodate seasonal workers were inundated by a powerful wall of brown sludge as laborers and their families slept inside. Other buildings were caked with mud as the force of the landslide scattered cars, corrugated iron, and other debris around the disaster site. A Wayanad district official speaking to AFP on condition of anonymity said 126 bodies have been recovered so far, with the toll expected to rise further. More than 3,000 people were sheltering in emergency relief camps around Wayanad district, the state government said. At least 572 millimeters, 22.5 inches of rainfall in the 2 days leading up to the landslide, Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan said in a statement. Kerala's disaster agency said more rains and strong winds were forecast for Thursday, with the likelihood of damage to unsafe structures elsewhere in the state. Indian opposition leader Rahul Gandhi, who until recently represented Wayanad in parliament, said he had been unable to go through with a planned visit to the disaster. Due to incessant rains and adverse weather conditions, we have been informed by authorities that we will not be able to land, he said in a post on social media platform X. Our thoughts are with the people of Wayanad at this difficult time. He added, Monsoon rains across the region from June to September offer respite from the summer heat and are crucial to replenishing water supplies. They are vital for agriculture and therefore the livelihoods of millions of farmers and food security for South Asia's nearly 2 billion people. But they also bring destruction in the form of landslides and floods. The number of water floods and landslides has increased in recent years, and experts say climate change is exacerbating the problem. Events like landslide, they are part of these climate change triggered heavy rainfall disasters. Karigi Nagi of Indian environment think tank Climate Trends told AFP. India will continue to see more and more of these kinds of impacts in the future, she added. Dumping, deforestation, and development projects in India have also exacerbated the human toll. Intense monsoon storms bother India this month, flooding parts of the financial capital Mumbai, while lighting in the eastern state of Bihar killed at least 10 people. Nearly 500 people were killed around Kerala in 2018 during the worst flooding to hit the state in almost a century. India's worst landslide in recent decades was in 1998, when rockfalls triggered by heavy monsoon rains killed at least 220 people and buried the tiny village of Malpa in the Himalayas. Let's get into tech now, as Samsung Electronics Wednesday reported its fastest growth since 2010, with operating profits soaring for the second quarter as chip prices bounce back and demand for generative AI continues to grow. The world's largest memory chip maker posted an operating profit of 10.44 trillion Korean won, or $7.5 billion, as favorable memory market conditions drove higher average sale price for the April to June period, it said in a statement. It added that robust sales of OLED panels used in creating digital displays had also contributed. The figure is 1,462.29% jump from 670 billion Korean won for the same period a year earlier, exceeding market expectations. Sales rose 23.4% to 74 trillion won, Samsung said. The firm is the flagship subsidiary of South Korean giant Samsung Group, by far the biggest of the family-controlled conglomerates that dominate business in Asia's fourth largest economy. Excuse me again. Excuse me. Semiconductors are the lifeblood of the global economy, used in everything from kitchen appliances and mobile phones to cars and weapons. And demand for the advanced chips that power AI systems has skyrocketed thanks to the success of ChatGPT and other generative AI products. Samsung is one of only a handful of companies worldwide that manufacture premium high-bandwidth memory chips tailored for artificial intelligence processors. Kim Jae-noon, Executive Vice President of Memory, told reporters HBM sales were up 50% in the second quarter compared with the 3 months prior, and the company was increasing production capacity. We have secured nearly 4 times from the volume of customer requests compared to the previous year, he said. Samsung said in a statement that it will actively respond to the demand for high-value added products for AI and will expand capacity to increase the portion of HBM3E sales. Earlier this month, the company showcased the development of AI across a range of its consumer electronic products, including high-end health wearables, as it seeks to extend its leadership in global market smartphone sales. Samsung Electronics' high credit quality is supported by its robust earnings this year that are driven by an upswing in the memory chip cycle, said Gloria Descent of Modding's Readings. The company's AI chip development and strengthening foundry business will be key to its technological leadership and earnings over the next 12 to 18 months, she added. And finally, in entertainment news, Ivana Alawi bid goodbye to her character Bubbles in FPJ's Batang Kuyapo as she thanked her co-stars, production team, and her leading man Coco Martin despite issues attending her exit from the show. Alawi admitted that she initially felt undeserving of her character in an Instagram post on Tuesday, July 30, but let go of her doubts due to the trust bestowed on her by Martin, who served as one of the creative directors of the show and the other people she worked with. When Batang Kuyapo was first offered to me, I had a question at that time. Why me? Can I do this? Do I deserve this? But I carry ABS mistrust in me, especially Tita Cory and Direct Coco, and through prayers, I accepted wholeheartedly. And I'm very, very proud of this show. Alawi then thanked Martin, her co-stars, technical staff, and production staff for taking care of her, saying she would carry everything she learned from her experience. From Direct Coco, all the actors I have worked with, technical staff, production staff, and the utilities, thank you for taking care of me. And now my chapter with Batang Kuyapo has ended, I will carry everything that I had learned. The actress' internet personality also thanked her supporters for loving her character. From the bottom of my heart, thank you very much to all of you, to your non-stop support toward me every night and for loving Bubbles. Thank you very much, and I hope you continue to support Batang Kuyapo. Until next time, Bubbles signing off. And that is it for koolNews at 4. As always, you can get in touch with us at tvhphilippines.news@gmail.com. And we will be back with more headlines later with koolNews at 6 and koolNews Prime Time at 9. Until then, I am Carlo. Good afternoon.